For example, something like Big, a Brimstone combo with Astor, we're gonna find out. It's a grand final of the Valorant Vanquisher series by Eurat GG, and Big got one hell of a task up ahead of him.
See how they approach this one now. Big on that defense are going to be looking very aggressively into Hookah, trying to take that fight. That Astra utility is going to put them off just a little bit. They back out. Obnox is the first to get in that position. We've seen him play 4 different agents today, Brimstone being the latest. Actually, the rotate's a bit of an odd one. They've given up the B site entirely as people have rotated through. And now as this A split is looking likely for Wave ESPORTS, there's only 2 players from Big there to try and stop it.
And I'm sure Wave are more than glad that they don't have to fight this annoying Viper stuff from Mako earlier on. Alex already slightly damaged, and once they push out, issues might start to rise. And here they come. Alex is immediately eliminated. Aslan finds Muri as well. But there they come. Spike's out. Aslan striking. Bishop comes. Spike's not hitting the ground. Territory that looked so clear and free. Wave still not have full control of.
They rotated and predicted it just in time. Wave ESPORTS now. This is the area where they're only there to pull together a couple of rounds. They only needed to get 4 overall even. And they were still, it took them a while to do it. Mako were able to come back into the game in a considerable way. So Big might actually have a good idea on how to approach this defense. They were a little bit early to rotate, a little bit over-eager to try and meet Wave ESPORTS on. They were in the right place at the right time as that execute came in, cleaned it up nicely. No force up from Wave ESPORTS at all, however. Big just going to continue that form with another straightforward default and a bit of a push down Sand.
Enemy down.
Oof. There you go. Job starting off good. Carcass and his boys might just end the big meat grinder that we have seen previous. You know, Pain looking of control. Not going for the AWP funny-wise, if I saw it correctly. It could be me being wrong. But here it goes. Bathroom control can't be obtained. Towards A, it didn't make a noise. Big are confident.
Yet again, Wave ESPORTS going in on that rotate. Already we've seen Muri want to take that space in A showers. It's an area that Big have been happy to give up. All the damage is done, and nobody actually checks this angle for Aslan, and he's been a bit scrappy with those kills, but gets all of them, stays alive, doesn't even really take that much damage. Muri finding a fight, finds nothing. A flawless round for Big to make it 2-0 in this grand final. The full buy for Wave is coming up.
You have to say, this was scrappy as hell. This was really, really worrying at one point. Yesterday, as mentioned, they already had their matchup. Big and Wave met at a different place. And the thing for me about that series was Big struggling big time when being on defense. This is where they only got 3 rounds as a defender, which is crazy nothing. Maybe they can already get it in the first 3. We're gonna find out.
Now, early aggression now onto showers. And I know that it's an area that they've given up a little bit, and the spray is there, but it's not going to catch onto all that much. Gravity well used from Wave ESPORTS is going to bully them out of this position, but not enough that Big completely want to give up this area alone. It's just these little duels happening on the wings of the map, and Wave, much like we saw in their semi-final, very patient, very slow on how they want to approach stuff. Big are just using so much utility to keep them at bay.
That's a deep thing. This will become a problem for Aslan. It's slowed, and this is so brilliant stuff. Exactly how you want to see that utility being used. Obnox is spotted but not tagged. And that would have been brilliant for a free frag, but they are aware that the man could be just in the left-hand side corner. 40 seconds left, Ryan. Big only down to 4, but no security for Wave.
Still haven't really done all that much. 30 seconds. It's going to have to be an A hit. There's no time for a rotate unless they go through that teleporter. Big have done really well to clear up some of this space. It's important to note where the Sage is on this defense. It's wrapped around. It knows that all of this space is for free, and that all of these players on Wave ESPORTS have actually pushed through one direction. Light comes through. Alexar has made his way towards the site to clear up some of these angles. And Bishop here, wrapping around perfectly. He's good for one before his position's given up.
He's not the only one wrapping around. Kane goes obviously for the side of Wave, who also sent their own Astra on a little bit of a hunt. He's lurking around, but how swiftly can he make a change? Because this is the issue. He might be all just rotating. Great stuff from him, but Gob keeps defusing. He hasn't been sucked away too far. Unfortunately for him, Jesus Christ, a little bit of a whiff to the end.
A little bit of a whiff. We all have those. Wave Esports' attack was not ideal in previous games, and it's continuing to be that way. Big, not necessarily playing the de facto composition, the Fnatic-inspired lineup with a Viper, but it's been flawless so far. Muri and Cider have been yet to get off the board when it comes to the kills and frags. And Aslan over on the Raze has been a big hitter, showing up when necessary, has that showstopper. And it's just a hero buy for Wave. It's just the one rifle that they'll have available. The rest is going to be Sheriff.
The rest is going to be Sheriff. Aslan holds the angle from Gordon. Brilliant stuff from him. Nico knows how to reply. It doesn't change the matter of fact that this is a fast end to the round. And here's something I really wanted to touch on when you just wanted to say it. The thing is, what held up Wave so much, I think, was partially down to Viper. This is not something that sounds specifically astute or brilliant. Abilities in combination with Astra are just disgusting, period.
Yeah.
And this is something we're not seeing here. Big is not having the same defensive capabilities, in my eyes, as a Mako had previous, just from the composition.
Wave are actually taking a very early tactical timeout. And they have the full buy-in, they have a Seekers, no ultimates are available, so trying to work out their strategies, what exactly is Big doing that's shutting them down so hard? And really, it's the fact that they've got all of these places lined up. They also have some ultimates now that can make this round very easy for them overall. Wave can't work the map and play it slow if they're panicking with 30 seconds left on the clock.
Right.
I've left an entire area of the map open in showers. It's just one of those things where, like, that's a fundamental error, and Big are good enough to punish that time and time again.
And this is something teams have mastered in the higher ranks of Valorant. Living with the fact that you have hardly any time left. For some, it's stress. For some, it's the exact way of a game plan. I think FPX would be one of the most prominent examples when it comes down to something along the lines of average plan time, where they usually take 60, 65 seconds in the round until they finally get the thing down. Even longer from time to time. And I love that. I genuinely like to see something like that. And it brings us in a scenario where you can live with that. But how much is your team set up to that? How much is your team capable of taking it? Oh, you know what? It's 30 seconds, but we have no stress.
I know what the plan is going to be here for Wave. They have lined up quite a lot of resources and a lot of players towards showers this time. There's a lot of Astra utility in that spot. Bishop is going to be there to wait and to fight them off. Now the Gravity Well with a flash is going to see what it can find. The slow orb and the Gravity Well from the defense now. I'm sure to stop Wave Esports from pushing too aggressively. So many resources used to clear up this area. It's just Bishop there to stop them.
It's really insane to see on the minimap here, Ryan. First of all, look how much ground Aslan has taken. That's awesome, right? But at the same time, look what angle Zik is holding.
I mean, all of that resource was there to just get the orb, and now there's a bit more of a reset. It's pulled a lot of players over from Big, but because Aslan's taken that space that you mentioned, they know that it's not a B rotate, that the B site isn't going to be in trouble. It is going to be a slow rotate over there, but as an operator posted on this angle, Zik, I don't think will be predicting or expecting it, but it depends which angle he looks at first. One's much safer than the other.
Oh, no way.
And he's picked the wrong one.
This is so unfortunate for him, really. This is so goddamn unfortunate. Due to the fact that we're still holding that position and we're so patient. Here they come. 30 seconds, plants going down. Nico is putting the thing on the ground. Marcus will not be eliminated that easily. Takes the IGL of Big off the server. And the flank is there. Also on the other side, Muri was actually not capitalizing on it, which brings us to a 2 versus 3 wave. are the ones who are still seeking to find the first round. And this is possibly where they put all the resources in it, but it's too strong. Their defense is way too much on it.
And it was a big turnaround considering they lost that operator very early on. They're going to go pick it up at least, so Aslan's going to have it. But it's this information game. They could just able to get themselves on aggressive angles to get that information. And even as this execute comes in, the numbers aren't available for Wave at all to do anything with it. Just chip away at them. The retake was clean enough, and it's 5-0 now on Wave Esports' pick. Big is running away with it.
And this is where I genuinely am excited to see how much will Big suffer once we swap sides. I know this is very far ahead, right? There's a few rounds ahead from here, but if Wave find 2 or 3, I genuinely see there is a chance that they come back. But I'm no fortune teller. I don't have a crystal ball. We're gonna find out.
Early kill is going to provide a lot for Wave Esports to just wrap in and around, but this is the area where Big really make that difference work. Here's a 4 versus 4. Aslan's on that angle again with the operator. He's been much more careful this time.
Much.
Big are expecting this hit. They're in a nice position. The toxic screen isn't actually going to be respected at all from Gopi, who's going to push through. Fully flashed, runs through the teleporter. And this is a manic fight overall as the orbital strike from the defense comes in, but Wave find that opening.
It looked like Big was waiting up, or more likely Goth was waking up from a very long night out and just didn't know what was happening. At the same time, he's the only one left, and as he stumbles and moves across the bomb site, or more likely the entire map, a save would not be mandatory. So the goal for him probably is just now to find some exits, and maybe get the operator that just has been tagged.
I think that was tagged from Wave. Yeah, maybe to just sort of grab it and get it away from where Aslan died.
Silence.
Peek is there, gets onto Nico, and there it is on the bottom of his screen. Checking these angles, there's not going to be enough time. If they can find another duel, it's not good enough to get onto Muri. And it's a gun that Wave Esports aren't able to pick up either. I don't know if they'd have much of a chance of using an attack up with this kind of composition. The weird fight as this execute comes in. I like that Gobi tried to play aggressive, but Showstopper doesn't even tank either.
It was very weird. It was... that seemed a little staged. Top 10 things you shouldn't do in a competitive match.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I like the idea, but the flash just completely takes him out of it. Big is still good though. Their money's fine for winning 5 rounds in a row, and they have 3 ultimates. Trailblazer's going to check onto this corner for Alexa. Aslan is close to at least protect him and uses that utility. The gravity well combination is going to catch on to Carcass perfectly.
Nowhere to run.
Player advantage is going to work out, but it might instantly be traded out as Muri with a Hunter's Fury trying to tag onto a target. I'm very surprised it doesn't get the kill onto God B.
Splendid. Try to collect a few on the dock tax, but the direction here is set for me, Ryan. The move towards Hookah seems coming immediately. The only thing holding them up is the wall. And this is the matter of fact where time's ticking. The clock's going on and on, but that wall is crumbling right now. Bishop hides, and I'm not quite sure if they even have him on the radar. Doesn't seem to matter of fact. He finds one after another, but Muri stops the action.
Yeah, the Seekers is out too. It's going to make this wall pretty useless, but Guppy kicking on the angle, just gets wide peeked by Muri, who wins out that duel. The numbers are still in favor for Big. The spike hasn't gone down. They could rotate the spawns a little bit, or maybe even make their way to A. Showstopper timed out nicely, and it dunks down onto Nika before the spike even gets considered. Make sure that they know exactly what Big are trying to do in this, and they're dominating on B.
I felt for a second like Aslan was watching a documentary on Michael Jordan.
But Space Jam.
Maybe some Space Jam. Could also be possible. But, well, if that is not a proper dunk, then I don't know.
There's a Goomba stomp if I've seen it.
Also a go, right?
Crazy that it's going this way. I know Nicholas said that Big seemed to be the better team and that we won't be going to a third map. But I still expected a little bit more from Wave. I mean, when you look at the VCT success, Wave have more of it. They're both still on 0 circuit points. They're both still doing dreadfully in that fashion in comparison to others. But Wave have made bigger strands, I suppose, in getting to qualifiers, getting to the closed ones even, and going from there.
Oh, no.
Big are dealing with this. Can they deal with the Viper's Pit? Well, they're just walking into Obnox's rifle. Beside her, the one with the Viper's Pit connected to him, still alive.
Making the right move. Finds one, and good old Gob could not even help his teammate. Cider is still alive, and the Viper's out. That means the Pit gets certainly set to the ground. But if the head smear is striking best, a good throw. That still does not connect. According to plan, he's on the clutch and he's on the hunt. And he's smelling his spray, but runs out of bullets. A little reload, his little toy gun, and he shoots the final bullets in the head of Alex. What a clutch! And he brings on the server.
That was such a key one, especially after the damage that B got to do. His mechanics have been a lot sharper today. And all the way that just run into a rifle one by one. But Cider bails them out. That elbow control so important. And Amiri in this 1v2, patiently playing. Literally playing with his food when it comes to Big. They take that engagement. Alex is a little bit paranoid. Doesn't expect the jump up on top of the tin can. Wave is still in this, but Big's money, their ult economy, they're still able to respond even after losing around that close.
That was a very classic shock dart by Gob. He loves that one. But he didn't hit anything. If you're fast enough out of the position once the wall goes down, it doesn't hit you. It doesn't bother you any second. But it's time for Aslan. Fill his opponent on the other side up with bullets. Cider just waits. Control towards A is on both parties fairly minimal. Bathroom, nobody has collected.
And just waiting each other out. It's a cowboy shoot-off. Mexican standoff. Just waiting and being patient, but nothing's quite happening. The Aldron makes its presence known towards B. These players are still not there to make that first move. It is a bait as the rotate is going to start to come in. Showers is open for business.
Oh, goodness. Sorry to interrupt, Ryan, but this is right now just turning into a mess for the side of Big. Nico is getting eliminated as well. I just thought it would be the other way around. Spike delivered on a silver platter. Please take it. Wave, surely I wrapped around. Surely Alex is going to fall, but is that a guarantee for success?
Resurrect is there if needed, but the corpses of Big are in awkward spots. It's going to be a bit of a trouble. Look at look at Lamps. Good old Brimstone.
Favorite in the beta is doing it for better. Opnox is eliminating Wave, and this is something you mentioned there, right? I think it was Nicholas favoring Wave, actually, Big. I think you mentioned that Big should lose this 2-0, and we saw Split being a disaster for them once more. For now, it is Big coming up with massive numbers. Really mentioning, yesterday, those guys only got 3 rounds when they were defending.
Look at this. Big just slipping in. Miri doesn't expect him. And it's just good proactive space for Big to take Lamps, and really, if you're executing his Wave, it's an area of the map that you want to try and take control of and make sure that it's 100% clear. Not Big responding well to the early pressure put in from Wave. Not maybe quite sure how bad the buy is going to be for the attackers. Nox is going to stall it out, at least on one side. The mollies aren't going to do all that much damage to stop Wave. They just get through in time. The recon dart showing quite a lot. Nox again in a cheeky position in elbow is going to get that first kill.
Man is doing so good with positioning, really, and there's not a single chance for Wave. Surely you have the ult. Our card cast should not be capable of making a move, and they're just moving back so much. They're really afraid of the showstopper. This is at least what it looks like, but if there is a killing machine on the side of Big, if there's an individual that will always take you down, it's Aslan. Don't try to run into crosshair.
Dealing with this aggression from Wave perfectly. They're just holding on to key positions of the map, not letting these spaces be exploited too much. Aslan's shown up when necessary. Obnox has just been the epitome of consistency and high impact. And everybody else on Wave is just lagging behind a little bit. Not in a huge way. But this Viper isn't finding maybe the same impact as Wave were maybe hoping. An orbital strike is actually going to punish Muri whilst he was in that owl drone. And the showstopper going to be used very early on too.
It's getting worse and worse. Aslan is trying his best, but doesn't stand a chance. And there you see it. Muri is finding another. Alex is out. Nice try, but the orbital strike we saw previous didn't have too much of an impact. Obnox, don't block. It's not dodging that. I didn't believe that this could be possible. And as he's trying to take a lot of room towards A, it finally works. That is quick chaos descending on the side.
It was Big that had that aggression early on too. It was the orbital strike, and we saw the instant response from Wave. The showstopper not catching on much. The Seekers make it awkward. The Hunter's Fury is able to grab that information. It just breaks apart Big's hold enough for it to kind of become fluid, very broken, and go from there. Big now want to make this 9-3 if they can. Wave ESPORTS is still doable if they get that. They were 9-3 up when it came to their game against Mako. And it went down to the wire on that one. Big just more they can do on this defense, the better.
Exactly. The more the better. Absolutely agree. Bob, in the meantime, man is hiding in the corner. Can't capitalize on it. Weird stuff, and even Obnox can save the day. A swift move for Hookah allowed him to take a lot of room in front of B. Now it's all theirs. Big though have two crucial ults on their side. Whilst the revive, I don't see it happening. A more important later on in the round. Here comes Aslan, and the party seems to arrive. The man is quickly moving through elbow. There's not much happening, is there? Oh, doesn't seem to be the case. He still tries. That is a clutch that you would expect from him to be working, but this Tasmanian Tiger. How annoying.
Oh, and even the Cosmic Divide put ahead of him. It's going to force him off elbow. He doesn't really have the time to wait it out. I've met with a Viper's utility. Manages to slip on by. Not enough, really. Zik just manages to get onto that corner. An 8-4 isn't bad for Wade. They can make it work on the defense. And if you're Big, this is where it might get a little bit more challenging. Maybe they have an idea on how they can take apart Wave on this map. The attack side from all of the teams that we've seen today seem to struggle a lot more overall.
I'm struggling to believe this to some degree that Wave is losing the map. It sounds odd. You know, don't get me wrong. It will definitely put up some resistance here, Big, but the combination of Astra and Viper, all the abilities they have to deny any access, including the flashes that a Sky brings to the table with a somewhat flashless approach from Big. I have a lot of worries here, Ryan.
Map the Wave won yesterday, and they won the map pick of Bind as well. A Big, even on split. Did it in dominant fashion. Wave are going to start to aggress here. They're down when it comes to rounds, but they're still okay for now. We can still turn this around.
Take flight.
Now Big are going in with this execute. The Aldron is going to lead the line, and Nebula Smoke is going to maybe put off Big for going on a quick exec with the one-way. But again, we're seeing the Showers position given up pretty openly overall for Big to exploit, and the execute is poised.
Here they come. Toxins going up, and another snake fight coming in. It's not getting any easier for the side of GOP B, and once the smokes fade, well, they have sight on the radar. Bishop does. Right click's coming in. The Toxin is getting low. The wall is suddenly dissipating. And the right click is on it. Alex is out, more to come, and Nico joins as well. This could be all just falling down, falling apart. Big has all shot them low, but the defuse is on. Half it already is, and Aslan is getting the shots for sure. Another nade that's coming in. It's working, or is it is the question, because Aslan is still on it. The man might be just a hero off the round, and he's 4 for the quad. The nade comes in. Aslan is trying, but it's not working, is it? Half is there.
all came down in the end again. Look at where everybody on Big died, all within that corner, because Wave Esports did well to make sure that the execute was only coming from one side. The wall as well from Big didn't really help in that regard. More fish in a barrel for Big, Wave to deal with. At least Aslan made it close. Easy cleanup for Nico in the end to get that defuse in, and now Wave is starting to get close, I suppose, with equal on score for Big. They could get this, well, they should be getting this next round 8-6 as well. Depends what Big are able to do on this Thrifty.
What is it going to be the is eating up a very ugly dart. I hate that electrification. Modern days, those kids nowadays, but other than that, wall's coming up. And this is already holding up. He saw he had a snake in his hand, and suddenly, nope, not gonna do it. Forget it.
Wave have always been a slow team, certainly from the stuff that we've seen today. Big are just trying to see what they can do, what they can find, if they can control these orbs, build up a few of these ultimates. Wave, happy to not really put themselves in a dangerous spot. They're expecting the execute to come in. The Viper's Pit is going to slow it down, at least from one of the angles. Not really expecting much to come out of showers.
So they try to approach Alex. It's gonna be the one who finds Cider, but defense is still remaining strong. If there wouldn't be Aslan. Knows what he's doing, and so Big seems to blossom right here on the A side. A lot of round they have taken, moving specifically towards showers, as they seem like bathroom is not their kind of stuff they like. And here's good information. This was right now the bot finding a good bit. That is the room they wanted. Still, who didn't know about the bathroom play? I know about everybody coming in over here on Lambs, as Murray finds a crucial double. He is spiking, and another one comes over short. Another one. This is number 6, but at the same time, costly to some degree.
Yeah, Big actually had a good execute overall. They started to chip away at Wave a little bit. They got that first kill. They could pick up the Spectre or whatever it was that was left on that first frag. But a clean retake from Wave. Not overzealous. They take the spaces that they need to get those 2 early kills. And from there, it's always going to be difficult for Big to really keep a hold of what's going on. They don't have a leg to stand on. Wave can just keep on these guns if they want. Make it a bonus round. They also don't want to allow Big that much respect. Big still have that lead. They have a showstopper. And yeah, Wave actually haven't bought up at all. They'd rather just make sure that they have enough money for the next round and see maybe if they can get a cheeky win with this weird half buy that they've still got left over the bonus round. Go from there.
Here.
At least one gold. That would be a game changer, I doubt it. Gobstock takes out Nico with a shock. This is just Gobstock. Brilliant. Find such a kill. And the room they've taken in front of B is something they might just capitalize on. Though I have my doubts that they're gonna make it work with that. Direction has not been said, because A is still open for this. Oh.
Wave are doing some stuff with a frenzy at least. Big having bigger guns. Managed to slip their way in. Does Zik actually expect well, he certainly doesn't expect Alex out to be in this position. Maybe he's seen him. I don't know if he has, because he's not been proactive enough. But Muri, the comms were there to make sure that this player wasn't going to get spotted out. And Zik even catches up the follow-up onto Bishop. Nice team play to work around that and not panic at the fact that Alex had slipped through their nets a little bit. Now 2 versus 3. Obnox, seeing who can find.
That's so unfortunate, because the wall is just an extra layer you have to cover. So unfortunate for Big. And this is where it felt like communication was maybe a little bit off. It seemed like Alex told them the site is clear, you can plant. But there you have it. This is perfect. This is why we have those observers, because he was telling them, yeah, you can come, all fine. And then he even elevates it. I mean, the worst of the worst luck.
Maybe they just sort of expected, because Alex was pulled, like, he got their attention. that maybe Wave Esports, the defense was pulled away from the site a little bit. So again, really nice play from Zik to be like, oh, Alexar's go in for our spawn, catch him out. I'm going to stay here because he's the leading light of Big's execute. I can catch who's coming next. They don't know what I know, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. They thought they had the information, but they didn't. This
Okay.
pretty much brought them down. Good thing from Opnox. Once more proven his worth. Yeah, on the radar, though. Seemingly not. This is where Viper is once more such an amazing agent. Wall up and suddenly reposition,
Okay.
but not with Aslan. Is it matchmaking?
Recon Dart's going to throw Carcass off this angle. Aslan wants to pick up the gun, knows where Muri's going to be playing on the site, and predicts his movement, but not enough to actually get the kill. The shot dart takes Aslan out. He's only on a smattering of health. The wall up is good to allow Bishop to grab the gun to slip in. Muri's not letting that space be given up. And lastly, it's Alexar, a bit late to the party, but has that Phantom with that one kill he got over on the A side. Hops down, gets onto Muri. The Carcass is there to trade. 4 rounds on this defense for Wave Esports. The score now, 8-all.
This is where you suddenly see economy of Wave booming. I mean, they lost another individual, only Broadfruit too. They should be in a quite safe and sound spot. Yeah, 6-3, 7-2, 3-7. It's clear that those lads still have some backup when it comes to a time where it was sinister. Big at the same time. Losing 4 in a row. And this is where the Viper, for example, on B, has given them a hard time. That Viper wall, as annoying as ever. And the only option we saw so far from Aslan, for example, is push through.
Found one.
The Seekers is going to provide some space for Nika to at least be with his team. He heals up those that have taken some form of damage. And Big, with this teleporter play, have made and ran for the chance for a B execute. Right now, it's just going to be the Rays over on the site. Carcass does get caught by the Eldron. Hunter's Fury isn't available for Big at all, but they're still being able to use this utility, take the space onto Hookah. Wave have rotated in time.
Oh no.
And the Showstopper could be a great way to open it, but this is the first ult. Cosmic Divide used, Bishop gets that frag.
That could be a multi-kill that you definitely want to avoid. Man's coming in, good positioning, but finds a double. For a second, I thought he didn't pull the trigger, but he did. Insider. That could be it. That could be the round number 9, and Big, who are just tied up, get back on the lead. This is what they were looking for, but it was costly. Costed them an ult. Actually, 2 to be accurate, and Wave can still buy up. They still have all the weapons they want in the next one.
And they're still saving, which shows that there's a good amount of respect for this, that there's no point running in and even getting a frag and dying, that they want to just contain their own economy instead of worrying about what Big are running with. 2 ultimates dedicated to Cosmic Divide, Showstopper. At that point, if you're Wave, it's just let them have that round. It's fine. We've got ultimates to work with. We've got Afraid, Hunter's Fury, Showstopper, Cosmic Divide. We have more of a response going into this next round. But Big finally getting off the board on their attack. 1 round in 5. And as the teams go even on score, Big decide that they want to retain that lead again.
Big. Can they repeat such strength? This is some scenario where once more they got good frags on B. We saw them in front of long. They always take the control. This is not really an issue. It has not been contested too much by Wave, but this time around they changed the pace. The bomb carrier in form of Opnox might just have a problem if he swings too wide.
Ooh,
I mean,
explosive action from Aslan, gets the pick, runs back out. Bit of a reset here overall. I'm curious to see what Wave are actually going to do off the back of that. 2 players on B, 2 players on A. There's no Sage on their lineup, there's no Res available. But they're not really phased by any of this. They're keeping an eye on Hookah for sure. They're actually going to flash through it to see if they can find anything. And they don't.
Revealing area.
A little bit of a art tutorial by Bob. Quite sure if it actually landed somewhere, to be frank. At the same time, likelihood of him failing those darts is somewhat low. Either way, as you mentioned, the control towards speed they technically obtained very early with a phenomenal mechanic masterclass by Aslan. Sure, drops on. There's no world where he can still escape.
30 seconds.
Now they
left.
come. The attack still sets themselves towards the A side, though. The wall has been initiated, but Cider is still there. Not the easiest one to do. They consider to still make the move, but there is the Viper's Pit. Far away from the actual action, but Lamb shouldn't belong to Big.
Now it's a case of if Big try and fight for this position at all. It seems that they're going to try. Aslan does, and he finds Cider, so that's the Viper's Pit going down. The linchpin of that fight for Wave is not working out nicely, and the backup option is going to be this Cosmic Divide coming in from Zik. There's still a showstopper. It's a 3 versus 4. Halfway on the defuse before the orbital strike is dedicated on this attack to stall it out. And there's the showstopper.
Oh, and that is brilliant, but Aslan has wrapped around. No chance for the defuse. And this is one thing I never understand, right? You have the Viper's Pit and technically the better vision as Viper, and you're still getting eliminated. This is so odd to see, but this is something reoccurring in full play.
It's such an odd fight as well. We see the showstopper come through here. It gets onto this corner. It's a messy fight with the ultimate not really catching on to much at all. Wave Esports looking a bit more phased on this defense now. And they're forced to at least have a bit of a half buy at most with a Marshall, Spectres. Big are now finding their feet a little bit more. 3 rounds, they take the first map of this grand final on Wave's map pick.
This is a scenario Wave don't want to end up in. It's a grand final where there's no room for error, really. You gotta put up resistance 24/7. And the team doesn't seem to be fully occupied in that sense. They struggle from time to time when we saw them flourish on defense against Mako. But now Big pretty much found the formula. And that formula seems to be really defying the limits again and again. Sending Aslan in with rational yet strong, dedicated moves.
Wave have got 3 players over on this B site. The smokes are going to come through. Carcass with utility in hand gets peeked and caught out from God B. Backup is there. Nikla's actually going to use that utility to close the gap a little bit. With the Trailblazer coming out, though, it does get caught out. God B down to 22 HP, has the spike, 22 health.
1 enemy
3k is meaning that it's just going to be the one player left alive in Zik.
Spike planted.
Has the utility to spare. And it's certainly doable, but it's going to be a real challenge now that this spike's gone down.
The thing is, we saw in the past what he's capable of, what kind of mental strength he brings, but against 3 players that are cracking 24/7, and also Aslan, sure, it's not that easy. It brings him the 11th. And Wave, as they definitely look through their scrapbook and read page after page, they seemingly find everything.
Spike down.
Connection there from God B is so good. Like, it's up against pistols, but you have a couple of those pistols using utility and running at you. Can be a real challenge to deal with. Wave Esports, Hunter's Fury, full buy available. And Hunter's Fury is also available for Big. But so is that attack op. Aslan, she's going to be sort of plastered up onto A short, just in case anybody decides to push him. But that aggression, actually, from Wave, coming out more towards B, allows the pickup of the ultimate orb to get those Seekers online. A Big more defaulting, taking it slowly, not being caught out from Wave, taking a push, using that Sky utility. Very careful, just taking it easy.
An inveterate German squad with one of the most experienced IGLs in Valorant.
Nowhere to run!
Seemingly found a solution to fight that meta. Drop is on it. Get a bit of hoop control, and he has tag too. This is so valuable information right now for Big.
But the bigger have not acted off this yet. They're going to start to slowly rotate. This is probably one of the slowest games that we've seen across the day. Wave still have these sightlines. One way is put together from Zik. He does actually spot a player, but doesn't take those fights. Doesn't want to give up that positioning. Insider takes that damage. Hunter's Fury now on the defense. Sage Wall is going to just funnel these defenders through. And actually, Sider gets them all lined up nicely. The spike has been left on the ground. Aslan has to try and pick it up and go through the teleport. The rest of Big is scrambling to try and make this right.
And this is such an ugly wall. Because either you pick the spike and then take your way around, but then you gotta guard lamps. And Muri obviously gets it. There's no plant happening. There is no plant coming their way. Oh, and this is devastating. Really, they put up resistance in a big way. That's a tough pill to swallow. 11-9 and they're coming back. Yes.
So, like, the wall I don't really get. I don't know if it was just a plan to go through the teleport anyway and they went for it without the spike because somebody went down early. It's just a bit of an odd ordeal, a bit out of character from how Big have been playing. Aslan actually doesn't have much money to buy up at this point. He's leading the line with frags, 29-14. One of the better players from the German region, but the German region overall in Valorant hasn't really strived in this game at all. It's kind of far behind in the Spanish. Even the UK scene is performing well in comparison to Germany. That's not a good look, whichever way you look at it.
I mean, that's a valid argument. True. I mean, the Germans, the biggest probably impact they had was with Wave, to be frank, in VCT. But other than that, we didn't see too much impact. But talking about too much impact, Wave didn't have too much impact on the second half yet. There were a few nice rounds. But Gop and his squad are still in the driver's seat. But it could be a matter of time until they get kicked out of that.
Right here.
Guppy's going in the opposite direction of the rest of the team. Trying to bait out some of that utility. Trailblazer's going to spot him. The L-drone is actually going to get cancelled instantly because that Trailblazer possibly surprised him. The rotates are not being bought from Wave Esports. They're expecting something potentially over on A, and the showstopper's going to be that open.
And there they come. Alex is taking out Zik. His counterpart is therefore eliminated. And as Aslan is whiffing a duel, Alex is there again. The Wave side have to work with a man disadvantage. They would have the Seekers. They're going to use him. And as they want to track them, Muri just might run in a horrible trap. He does run in a horrible trap. Full force, full strength is remaining on Big. And it's only Carcass. The race that should clean up so much room has been eliminated. And this is such a crucial storyline here, Ryan. Wave, their race have not the same strength as in form of Aslan.
And even Alex showing up when he needs to. Another key execute, getting those two players on the side, getting the spike planted, fighting off these three players on the rotate from Wave. It puts Big on match point. And as you're seeing from Wave, the money is awkward at best. Like, Muri's going to be able to buy up half armor in some cases. Spectre for Nico. And only one ultimate on the board currently. More could come online, certainly from both of these Astras. Wave are looking a bit shooken on their own map pick of Bind. Big are looking a better team, and they get that first blood.
Again, which is very important to mention. And it's the side of Wave just doesn't feel comfortable at that point. As Upnock strikes with another double. It's insane. It's crazy what they deliver. The smokes are being put down on the B side. That chapter is closed. He's even teabagging him. Was that mandatory, Alex?
Now all up to Cider, has a wall to break, a corner to check as Upnox is about to peek him bit by bit.
Attackers win.
And on Wave Esports' map pick of Bind, Big take it 13-9. We now go to